my
Wow.
boyfriend said, I think she has Alzheimer's. I'm like, how do you know she has Alzheimer's? And he's like, that's what happens. You forget how to eat and drink. I was like, she's still thirsty and can't remember how to
How to
drink.
drink. Oh my
That,
God.
like, my soul dog was still alive. He was 16, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna let this happen to him. So, and then I realized this being on tour with Dr. Judy, I would go up on the stage and be in front of like 200 pet parents and say, raise your hand if you have a senior dog. Someone raised, and I go, if your dog is this age, he is a senior. So then a bunch of hands would go up. I'd go, put your hand down if your dog is not doing any of these things. Waking up in the middle of the night, missing, peeing or pooping in the wrong thing, maybe getting lost, not remembering things. All of them kept their hand up. The waking up in the middle of the night, the wandering, the random barking, the change in behavior is sundowners. It's early signs of
Mm.
dementia in your dog. So,
Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina, a holistic approach for mental, physical, and spiritual well being so you can become the best version of yourself. Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am Tina Marks, your host. My guest today is the certified cannabis clinician and the founder of CBD Dog Health and Myco Dog. She also owns and operates Fireflake Farm Rescue Sanctuary. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the holistic health for your pets. Welcome, Angelina Ardolino. Well, that is a mouthful if you say that fast, huh?
yes, it is.
I'm so happy. We've just been chatting before I even pressed the record button. We have so much in common, and we both believe in synchronicity, and our lives seem to have really identified with are very reminiscent of each other. So that always just really lights up my heart, even to start off the interview. So I'm so happy to have you here. And as we said earlier, Dr. Joy was here, and she's a friend of yours because I was saying you're the only second pet holistic person I have, but I'm so excited to have this conversation because, a lot of people have not heard what we're going to be talking about today. And I think it is so, so important. One thing you were saying right before that, you were saying not only are you a pet clinician, but you're a human
Yeah.
clinician.
I'm trained as a human clinician, and I
You're
just chose to concentrate on animals because there was nobody like me in the pet space.
right. Okay. So why don't we start a little bit about your backstory and how you got involved in this? Because I know you transitioned from a high level media career, correct?
I did.
Okay, so tell us about it. Always love to hear how you would make that kind of a jump. So tell
Oh, it
us a
was a
little bit.
crazy jump. Yes, I had basically a media company where I put out a regional magazine that was basically all about healthy living, holistic living for your family. I had a radio show, a TV show that was syndicated, like a segment that got sent all over the place. Um, but because I was a stressed out entrepreneur, I gave myself an autoimmune disease called rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh,
So this is like over 12 years now. So I was diagnosed in 2015, and because I was already living a very natural lifestyle, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to take the prescription medication that was given to me because it's already been linked to lymphoma, and I don't want that.
mm-hmm.
So I started to look for what would help me naturally. So someone gave me a tincture of a full extract of cannabis oil. I will never forget taking it for the first time. I remember just putting this dropper in my mouth, and I could literally immediately feel it take effect. Like I knew I was in pain, but I had no idea. I literally felt like, ah, like it
Yes.
through me. And I was like, what the heck did I just take?
Uh-huh.
Not only is my pain completely gone, but my stress and anxiety levels have gone down. I'm not high. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever put in my mouth. What is it? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what started it. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I changed my diet, learned more, and literally have been able to bring myself back to homeostasis and make my own medicine. But before I did all that, I started to want to report on this in my magazine, and I was in Florida where medical marijuana was still illegal.
Right, right, right. Okay, I got something. Okay, keep going.
So,
This was probably then like 2014, 8 years ago.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
or
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
Let's see, when did we become legalized was 16 or 18? 16, I think is when it. we
Well,
passed it.
I think
I'm pretty sure it's 16.
well because
But before that,
I found CBD at that time, and I wanted to do a show about it, and I couldn't get anybody to let me do a show. It's not legal yet or anything. So I was just like you.
yeah.
I was doing it for myself, and I remember the same thing. I mean, I had to move out of my house. I was living with my 14-year-old son with a friend in one room. I mean, I had lost everything. Okay. So sleeping, and I remember taking this to go to sleep. I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I'd wake up at 3 in the morning. I better not take it. Cause when you take it, something sleeping,
And you
even
don't want to be
natural,
groggy in the morning.
you're gonna be nope, nope. And then I started selling it, and a friend of mine had plantar fasciitis, and she put the cream on, and she goes, "Oh my God, it went away." So okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right, you're talking my language. You know what
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
coming from. So I didn't just find that. Like I wanted to start reporting like everything you were finding also, but what I found was a group of moms called Canna Moms who were stopping their kids' seizures, reversing shrinking brain tumors, getting rid of their cancer. And so I started to report on that. And then eventually sold the business and threw myself into the cannabis industry because I was like, I want to be a part of this. This is the most incredible. There's no side effects. This is beautiful. I'm healing myself. It was just, one story, one conference after another where I could just hear, success story after success story. So I threw myself into the industry having no idea where I would end up. I hired the best business consultant. He was fabulous. I told him, I don't know what I want to do. I want to learn everything from how do you source strains, how do you make medicine. That was the first thing. I'm like, okay, if we're making medicine out of this beautiful plant, then we need to replicate the same thing over and over and over again if we're going to make medicine, right? We want to take this, we should have the same effect. Honestly, I thought I'd get out and be like, I don't know what I thought. But I became such a huge advocate that in 2016, the University of Vermont School of Medicine offered their first cannabis endocannabinoid system study, biology of the plant, its therapeutic uses. And they reached out to my consultant and said, we want to killer an inaugural class. Do you know anybody that would be a good candidate? And he recommended me, and I got to go through that program.
Oh
That
wow.
program blew my mind. It was so hard, but so amazing. And that's where I learned animals have the same system as we do.
So
So,
why don't you tell the audience that? Because I used to sell it, I know, but that
mhm.
how we're hardwired in our. Go ahead and
So the system is called the
now.
endocannabinoid system. They
Mm-hmm.
actually have changed the name now to the endocannabinoid ohm because now it encompasses the entire gut microbiome, which is where 90% of our immune system lives. So
Mm-hmm.
there's receptors throughout our entire gut, all over our organs, skin, it's everywhere. And this system is our master system in our body. It's in charge of all of the other systems in our body:
Mm-hmm.
respiratory, circulatory, endocrine, all of them. And our doctors and veterinarians are taught nothing about this system.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we literally can never get back to homeostasis if we ignore this system. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I was able to heal myself, probably how you were able to heal yourself with the help of a full spectrum hemp extract, because it's interacting with that system that's responsible for our moods, inflammation, everything. It is literally here to keep us in balance. So that's what
Yes.
I'm an expert in. And
Yes.
knowing everything about this master system and what plants and mushrooms interact with this system, there isn't anybody I can't help
Wow.
because most people are ignoring this damn master system.
And
So,
that right, exactly. And I'm glad that you brought up full spectrum because there's so many different tinctures out there. And
a
unless
lot of
it's
crap.
full, a lot of crap, right? So explain what the full spectrum is.
You bet. So full spectrum means that, and what I do, and remember, this is not really, it's kind of regulated, meaning it has to be grown under farm bill conditions, organic, all of that. But as
Mhm.
far as extraction, what you have to put in the bottle, how you have to grow it, those types of things, you can do anything. So the choices are a full spectrum, a broad spectrum, or isolates. You want a full spectrum or a whole spectrum or a full extract of cannabis oil or hemp. Cannabis is the name of the plant. Hemp and marijuana are both the cannabis plant. If that
Hmm.
cannabis plant happens to have more CBD, it therefore has less THC and is called hemp. If it has more THC, it therefore has less CBD and is called marijuana. All of that is completely
Oh, I
inaccurate,
didn't know that either.
but
Okay.
that's what the United States government has named everything. But everything's the cannabis plant. It's just a matter of
Yes.
what the profile of the different cannabinoids. And CBD and THC are only two of 120 that have been discovered now. They are the
Right.
main ones, but when you get a full spectrum and you do an extract out of the flower of the hemp or marijuana plant, you want all of those good cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, amino acids, fatty acids, all of those live in that flower, and they all help the cannabinoids do their job. So the cannabis, so how the system works is we have receptors all over, and our endocannabinoid system produces endocannabinoids. And
Hmm.
they bind to receptors and they take care of all, if we have inflammation of our liver, it's going to concentrate on bringing that inflammation down in the liver, help the immune system deal with whatever the issue is. But if we're not producing endocannabinoids, we could have an endocannabinoid deficiency. And a lot of
Hmm.
times, these endocannabinoid deficiencies can begin at birth because you get a lot of your endocannabinoids from your mother's breast milk. So if you got a
Mm.
puppy or a person who wasn't breastfed, they'll have a deficiency
Deficiency. Oh,
at
I didn't know that
as a
either.
baby or as a puppy. So what's beautiful is that there's this plant called the cannabis plant that produces phytocannabinoids that bind to our system and feed and fix the deficiencies and bring us back to homeostasis. And that plant's the cannabis plant. That's why it's named after the cannabis plant. But what people don't really understand is that unless you have that full spectrum, it ain't going to work. So the two main receptors are and when I say main receptors, all the pain receptors, nerve receptors, all of those are a part of the endocannabinoid system. That's why it's so amazing for pain and inflammation.
Hmm.
But the two main ones are the CB1 and the CB2 receptor. CBD won't even bind to the receptor unless THC has bound there first. So if you have a broad spectrum product, meaning they've taken the THC out, you've
It's
totally
a
made
waste.
it
It's a
useless.
waste.
And then if you're
Wow.
taking an isolate of any of the cannabinoids, but CBD in particular, has already been proven to cause liver injury in humans. They literally had to stop the study. So stay away from isolates. Stay away from even a new trend that's happening now is people are taking a broad spectrum or a full spectrum and adding a bunch of isolates so that the COA looks like it's this, magical tincture,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
not. So
Wow.
you want to make sure you're always getting a full spectrum. It's called the entourage effect. It's where everything
Yes.
in that plant has a job and works together. It's synergy. It's very important that how it's extracted and preserved. And the best way that you can do when you're looking at products for both human or animal is to make sure that it has a COA. Make sure it's a full spectrum product and make sure it has a certificate of
Okay, I was gonna,
from
yeah,
a
the
third party
certificate,
lab.
right. If they don't post that, it's probably not legit. And I remember that when I was selling it, who I decided who I was going to sell their
Exactly.
things, always have to look for the certificate. Always have to look.
Always. And
Yeah.
this goes for all natural products, including mushroom products. Hemp and mushrooms are both considered bioaccumulators. So, meaning wherever the conditions they're grown in, if it's a toxic situation, it will suck those toxins out of the air, ground, whatever. So, it's very important that you get a certificate of analysis that shows you, at least in mushrooms, that it's free of contaminants, that it's free of, especially for dogs, alcohol. Alcohol should not be given to our pets. They lack the enzymes that we do to break it down. So it's 10 times worse for them than it is for us. Giving them
Wow.
a tincture with alcohol in it, and a lot of them are 50% alcohol, is like us literally doing a shot of hard alcohol.
Oh my God.
So these are like, I was just a pet parent.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
now
the
that I
more,
know how things are made, what pharmaceutical drugs are isolates. They're all I know I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah, you're
I,
preaching it. Yeah, but
I'm
no, but
preaching to the
I want to
choir.
go.
So
I
this
want
is,
to go there because that was my
yeah.
next question. Was you've recently been talking about the rise of longevity drugs for pets. Why do you
Hmm.
believe the industry is pivoting towards pharmaceuticals to fix aging rather than addressing the loss of homeostasis through natural means?
Hallelujah! Can I get an amen?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this is why we
I
do
think I
these
know the
podcasts.
answer, but I had to ask it anyway.
Yeah, this is why we have these podcasts so that we can get this information out because literally this information is being kept from us. Every pharmaceutical drug is based on a plant or a mushroom or a food that did the trick, but
Yes.
we can't patent nature and make billions of dollars. So a man goes into a laboratory and they
Mhm.
spend millions and millions of dollars to make a synthetic version of what worked in nature. The problem with that is that our liver has no idea what the hell this isolate is or this concoction of chemicals. It literally, our body, God, I wish I could remember where I just heard this. We don't have autoimmune diseases. We have an immune system that is constantly dealing with the threats in our environment.
Compromised. Yep. Yes.
And we're
Yes.
turning it off?
Yes.
No, we need to stop with the threats and help the body do its innate ability to heal itself and keep itself at homeostasis. So, like pain, I love how everything in the body works in a series of pathways. So, pain, for instance, works on up through five pathways. Cannabis has already been proven to interact with all five of them and get rid of pain. It's just a matter of how much THC do you give, and sometimes you don't even have to give more THC. You just add another adaptogen that's known to help pain, and because you added it to cannabis, it becomes extra strength.
It's oh
Instead,
yeah, go ahead.
pharmaceuticals are made to target just one of the pathways.
Right.
So you'll even hear it in cancer, targeted immunotherapy. Cancer is 12 pathways and they only target one pathway. When cannabis has been proven to interact with eight of those pathways, and you add adaptogens and mushrooms and a ketogenic diet, and you are interacting with all 12 pathways, and cancer doesn't stand a chance of taking over and taking your animal from you. So the
Yes.
five pathways for pain, one drug for each pathway. Your dog comes in, gets surgery, has an issue. Arthritis is where I see a lot of, they become senior citizens. They
Yeah.
slowing down. They go see the vet. They're given their first drug. They come in,
Yeah.
how's this pain? I don't think it's gone. They give them another one and another one. And now the dog's on like three, four, five different pain medications. We have no idea what those concoction of chemicals do, but the poor liver is working overtime. The detox pathways are working overtime.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
senior dog rescue and a groom shop that I would see. I bought the groom shop, turned it into a holistic groom shop after I found out how poisonous everything was.
Oh yeah.
And I'd get 100 dogs on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
Most of them were suffering. Most of them were covered in lumps and bumps and problems and skin issues
Because of the shampoos that they were using?
because of the food, the supplements, everything. When
But
the
for the
liver,
grooming, would you because I just teamed up with a all clean company for your everything in the house, everything in the house, and
awesome.
it's like even those. I've been hearing how bad like fabric softeners are. My son does his laundry all the time. I'm like,
Anything with a scent is an endocrine disruptor. It's going to have an effect. If you are not breathing fresh air and your poor pet isn't getting fresh air because of the plug-ins or the sprays or the laundry detergent or all those things, those are all artificial synthetic compounds that you are inhaling. And when you do that, your body has to do something with them.
Mhm.
In dogs, so what happens is the liver gets this chemical. Does the chemical have the action, the drug? Whether it's stop the itch, stop the pain, stop the seizure, whatever it is, it has that action. But everything else, the liver doesn't know what it is. It doesn't recognize it. So
Right.
sometimes it sends it out, which, yay, good job, liver. Other times it sends it back into the bloodstream because it's got to do its job. It's got to metabolize everything that's coming into the body. And then when it comes back around in dogs, it gives up and stores it in their fatty tissue. And
Well,
that's why
yeah,
we
it's
have
no
dogs
different than eating
ulcers on their
processed.
tongues.
It's no difference than eating processed food. Your body goes, I don't know what to do with this. Well, let's put it over here for right now, which is called
Where does it put
fat.
it in the human body? Fat?
It puts it into fat. Doesn't know what to do with it. Can't use it for energy. It's like foreign to the body. And then people are wondering why they can't lose the weight. Going back to what you said earlier, if by now, you people that are listening have not, if you don't know how important the gut biome is, it is.
Everything.
That's how yeah, I was anxiety, I had depression, and it was all because of my gut, because 90% of your serotonin and dopamine is made in your gut.
Yep.
So yes, this is, yeah,
I can't believe we're talking about this. It's so awesome.
I know it is. I love this. I had no idea either, because I'd never met you before until we got on here earlier.
Because we had the same, we talked about this before we got in, but we had the same problem. Like my gut
Yes.
is great. I got rid of all the toxins. Why am I still
Why am I still
years?
like want to jump off myself?
Right? And
That's
it's
the only way I
still,
could say it. I wanted to jump off
oh
myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
never settled down. Fight or flight, constant. Absolutely. And you can fix it within your gut.
Yeah, yes, you can. Um, we're seeing lawsuits and warnings around drugs like
Librella.
Librella. Yeah. What should pet parents look for as red flags when veterinarians suggest a new long-term pharmaceutical for pain? Just
Anytime anything is being recommended, you see something, your friend, even me and you telling you this is good, you have to do your own homework and
yeah.
research. So, Librela, for instance, has over 17,000 adverse events. It is a drug that failed in the human part of the world, and
Mhm.
that's what happens. They make their way over here because, like I said, those men in the lab spend millions of dollars trying to recreate something that exists in nature. Do
Mhm.
you think that when it fails on the human, they're just going to flush that down the toilet? Nope.
Right.
They reintroduce it as an animal drug. This happens all the time. It's disgusting if you knew what I knew and why I'm angry and always coming on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, no,
But
I felt the same way when I got breast cancer and tooth. That's where my journey began in looking into this. And I'm going, we're being poisoned. Okay. Bottom line is it's all about the money. And I'm not going to say there's not certain situations, a car crash. I've said this before. If you need
course,
morphine or something like
emergency, of
that, or to be
course.
sewn up. But you know what? Here's the thing you always hear. Well, if that was true, my vet would know. If that was true, my doctor would know. No, and it's not a fault of theirs. They weren't schooled for it.
They
They
were
were not
trained as standard of care. They were trained,
exactly.
comes in for this, you follow this protocol, you do this surgery, you get this medication, and in vets, a candy company came in and said, and feed them this food. So
Let's
you
go there
have
for a minute because I was talking to Dr. Joy about that, and she got me to
Dr.
switch
Judy.
my Dr. Judy. Sorry,
That's it.
I had Dr. Joy Kong on 2 weeks ago. So I was telling her that I had gone when I was living at the beach. My dog is having these issues with his poop, and he says he took an X-ray. He says, "Well, he's got to be on this the rest of his life." I said, "What do you mean?" He's the Dr. Hill's prescription dog food. And he goes, well, it's just him getting older. It's inflammation. And so I've been poisoning my dog for about over 2 years
That's
now,
okay.
and infuriates me. Yeah. So
That's
let's
okay. I
talk
can tell
about
you
the,
exactly what to do and help you get your dog back to homeostasis. I do this on a daily basis all the time. I
okay.
literally train veterinarians how to do this. So, yes, if you're feeding a kibble or even a science diet, by all means, don't panic. You can absolutely bring your dog back to homeostasis. But what I want you to understand is that veterinarian got very little diet and nutrition
Mhm. Yeah. Oh,
schooling, and literally a candy company came in and made these diets. Hill Science, all of them, they're all owned by Mars. They
okay.
also probably own the vet office that you went to, and they're the ones teaching at the schools. So
The
literally,
same thing as okay. Same
yeah,
thing.
so you know everything that's happening in
Big
human.
Pharma owns the medical schools. Same thing.
So I
Yes.
want you to picture this. Everything that's happening in human happens in animal, but 10 times worse because there's no repercussions for them killing your pet. You can sue somebody, you can sue and prove that Hills killed or Librella killed your dog, and the judge is going to go, how much were your vet bills? They don't take into account that you killed a family member. that you not
Yes.
only put the whole family through bringing the dog back and forth, the visits to the vet, all the medications, the cost. My journey started because in my late 20s, I spent way too much trying to save my dog, where did everything that the conventional vet told me to do, and I over vaccinated her, and I put the pesticides on her, and I fed her the Purina kibble crap they told me to feed her. And now I know better. I don't trust
Yep.
anybody, and neither should pet parents. But what I want them to understand is that Librela, which is owned by Zoetis, which is owned by Pfizer, who made $300 billion 2 years ago. I don't know what they're making now. They literally send a team of salespeople out, and the salesperson walks in and tells the veterinarian about this really awesome new drug.
Mhm.
And the veterinarian says, "Are there any side effects?" And they say no.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
where the problem is. It's a lack of transparency. So we even have good vets that are involved with this class action suit against them now who are like, we had no idea. So literally, this drug that was made for osteoarthritis pain is being prescribed to dogs just because they're getting old. And
Hmm.
it's ridiculous. They're preying on you. They know you want your
Yes.
dog to live longer. So now there's another drug coming out called Loyal. They just raised another $1 million. That is an anti-aging drug for pets. It already exists. It's called mushrooms and adaptogens.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, one thing I will go back to the pharmaceuticals, what I understood way back then, because I was reading Kevin Trudeau's book, because he was on both. So he started off on the pharmaceutical side, and then he went over to the natural side. And he said every prescription drug is meant to give you a side effect. It's designed that way, right? That's why when you see these older people and they've got 25, pills by their bed, or things with pills and everything.
Right.
So let's go into the food a little bit right now. So your for suggestion for food, it should be human grade.
Real food is real food is real food.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
whatever you, especially, I can tell you know how to eat.
Yeah.
You look freaking healthy and good.
Thank you.
Whatever, it's same thing works for animals. So you don't want ultra processed. You want to look to make sure it didn't come from a factory farm. Is it organic? But literally, we're overthinking this. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous
If it's real
how,
food.
because if it's real food, like literally the longest living dogs, the Guinness Book of World Records, all four or five of them. Well, actually, number four was a vegetarian Australian sheepdog, if you could believe
Wow.
that,
Wow.
an Aussie.
That, yeah, because they're not small dogs. Usually,
No,
the big dogs
and
usually,
very
yeah.
active.
Yeah, very active.
Was a vegetarian, probably not by choice, but and if he was a farm working dog, he's probably picking up other things on the farm. But the
Yeah.
longest living dog literally was a dog that ate whatever the family threw out as scraps and what he found on the farm.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's literally what how their gut is built and whatever. They're not built for synthetic vitamins and minerals and additives and fillers. And if you knew what
No.
is allowed to be put in dog food, your mind would be blown. Um,
Right.
and that's like Dr. Judy, The Truth About Pet Food, Susan Thixton. That's what they concentrate on. So if you want to know about food, they're great people to follow. I am them on the pharmaceutical and supplement side of things because it's
Right.
just
Right.
as bad. Supplements are not regulated. 85% of all supplements, whether a doctor has their name on them or not, are completely useless. Doctors aren't taught about diet and nutrition, much less how to freaking formulate supplements or
Right.
medications. So why does it say veterinarian, formulated? They don't know anything about it. They have no
Right.
idea, and they're being sold. So people don't understand those supplements are all coming from the same five giant Chinese bulk manufacturers that are sending powders and isolates over. So in the pet side of things, you don't even understand. There's probably 50 products that are a vitamin and mineral supplement thing you throw in your dog's food, and it's all synthetics. People don't
Oh
understand
no,
that
gosh.
causes so much problems, so many issues.
Oh, wait. Well, because I give my dog standard process immune. Do you know what I'm talking about? The powder? The
Um, so,
standard
so
process
Standard
immune?
Process is a great company. They have some really good products and they have some really bad products. And the reason I say they have really bad products is their whole standard process is to take and standardize nature. So they will have sometimes their products are amazing, and I
Yeah.
am like, yes, love it. And then other times I'm like, why is that in there? Why is that in there? So they'll
Oh.
take and yes, their vitamin and mineral thing I think has synthetics. I would check to make sure, but um, they add isolates. So they take, I'll just use an example, a milk thistle seed extract.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying standard process does this. I'm
Right. The
telling you what the
example.
standardization process is. So
Okay.
the active ingredient in milk thistle that is like the main, like the CBD of milk thistle is called
Yeah.
silymarin. So they take an isolate of silymarin and add it to the milk thistle seed extract so that it is guaranteed to have 1,000 milligrams of silymarin in it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're messing with nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't mess with nature. Go
Right.
get the extract in its whole form.
Right.
So I'm happy to look at it, or we could like read
Okay.
the instructions together, but you have to read the ingredients and you have to go look at, see if there's a COA. Standard process should have COAs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, right. Right. So
Not
you
just
have to
because
go
they've
on,
been
I'd have
around
to
for
go on their
40
website.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, just because
exactly.
they've been around 40 years doesn't mean that they haven't been purchased by
Yes.
someone else and changed things. So don't trust anybody. You always got to make sure of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have
But
to
what
do your
happens
own
is,
research and you've got to use your intuition with this sometimes too.
and you have to look for something on bottles called other ingredients or inactive ingredients. And if it's a capsule, that's all that should be listed on there. If it's a powdered or a capsule product, you see anything else, it is only in there to save the company money.
The other ingredients.
The other ingredients. So
Okay.
things like stearic acid, silicon dioxide, microcrystalline cellulose. Silicon dioxide is sand. Microcrystalline cellulose is sawdust. And that they're
Oh.
only in there so that they don't have to put as much of the bioactive compound in there. Or 9 times out of 10, they just want to fill the capsule all the way. So
Well,
it looks
well,
like
yeah,
you're getting more.
it's no different than feeding the chickens hormones and antibiotics to plump them up so they make the weight so you're getting more. It's all right. Breathe, Tina, breathe. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. It's not on my list, but I just thought of something.
Yeah.
So would it be safe to say, no matter what your dog's ailment is, if you give them the CBD, and then we're going to go into it right now, your mushrooms, because
A full spec. So I love to not just say CBD. A full spectrum hemp extract has CBD. So the whole statement is a full spectrum hemp extract with naturally occurring CBD and THC.
right,
Nobody's
anti,
taken it in and messed with it. It's literally
right.
just the extraction from the
And the
flower.
THC is so little that
So
you're not
little.
gonna get hot. Yeah, just I
Right.
want
And for
everybody to know that
dogs, hemp is perfect. And hemp
Hampton,
is actually perfect for a lot of humans too if you're sensitive to THC.
right?
But dogs have already been proven to have like double the amount of receptors than we do. That is why they're more sensitive to the THC. But there's something called LD50. There is no lethal dose. No animal has ever died, human or animal, from the consumption of marijuana from a pure product. Now, you see reports or someone making a video on social media, that was a recreational product, whether it was a gummy or something that was made. A lot of them are putting synthetic THC into things, but a completely natural product will not kill anyone. In 1973, they did a study. It's called the Rosencrantz study, where they literally wanted to see how much THC it would take to kill a person. And of course, they do it on animals. So they
Hmm.
tested on rats, chimpanzees, and beagles. And two rats passed. They regurgitated in their sleep and choked and asphyxiated themselves. No beagles and no chimpanzees did not die. The chimpanzees even metabolized themselves in a very short time, like a couple weeks, where they weren't even acting high anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
did this on my own. My Doberman was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, and I gave her 10 milligrams of THC every single night. It literally saved her life.
Wow.
Remember, I talked about those 12 pathways of cancer?
Yes.
One of those pathways is metastasizing, spreading through the
Yes.
body. Just that, sorry, that's not true. That's one of the pathways. The action of THC is what I wanted to bring up. So one of the other pathways is once that tumor is formed, meaning several rogue cancer cells got together and formed a tumor, they
Yeah.
send out a blood supply to one of your veins. Just that is a pathway right there. Just the action of THC comes and severs that
Wow.
so that it cannot feed off of your vein. So each pathway from a normal cell turning into a cancer cell, that's one pathway, stops that. A rogue cell getting with another rogue cell and forming a tumor stops that. The vein I told you about stops that. Metastasizing stops that. Even when they start to kill the cancer cells,
Hmm.
another pathway is called autophagy, where it literally helps the body remove the dead
Right.
cancer cells out of the body. So these pathways, eight of them, cannabis has already been proven to interact with, and sometimes more ways than one, meaning it will stop an action, downgrade, upgrade, whatever it needs to do. And then you add adaptogens and medicinal mushrooms and some of these incredible herbs like green tea or I don't
Yeah.
know if I can think of anything. All the mushrooms, turkey tail, reishi, lion's mane, they all have been proven already. I literally have a guide where I started to keep track because I could not. Whoops, sorry. It's my last copy. But I
This
literally started to keep track of this is all research that's already out there
about the mushrooms. Yeah.
about mushrooms
So
and how they.
in fact, I drink mushroom coffee. I also take lion's mane on its own.
Nice.
My doctor, and he's a gut doctor, he's not on that side. He was a little concerned for humans, about mushrooms and the fungus, I think, or something. I don't know. I mean, you don't know anything about that? All right.
So mushrooms, whether we take them, so mushrooms are both a functional food and a functional medicine. So
Okay.
them and their whole fruiting body, what we know as mushrooms, chopping them up, ones like lion's mane, maitake, shiitake, king trumpet,
Right.
oysters, those are amazing. Cook up, fry them up like 25 minutes in some grass-fed ghee, throw them on your dog's food, you eat them. 3 grams feeds your gut microbiome for 13 days. Incredible functional food, but you're not getting all of the medicinal compounds out from when you eat them. So I make mushroom medicine, which is you want to at least a dual extraction, meaning a hot water extraction and an alcohol extraction, because it's the only way to break through this hard layer called chitin and get to those medicinal compounds. So if it's not a dual extract, it's not medicine. You're not getting it. You might get a little if you were just to do some hot water like a tea, but you're not
Right.
getting the cancer causing, the cancer killing bioactives I'm talking about have to go through a dual extract. I do something called a spagyric, which is the most potent, synergistic way you could possibly make what I make. And that is after we do that extraction, what's left, we purify and put back in. So it's considered like in hemp, a full spectrum, a whole extract of that mushroom. That is what has been proven in research like lion's mane, astragalus root, bacopa monnieri. You know what adaptogens are.
Yeah.
Uh, so what these
Well,
are,
why don't you explain it to the audience in case
yeah.
they don't know? If
Adaptogens are
everybody's heard it.
plants and mushrooms that you and I could both have the same tincture, and you could take a dropper full, and I could take a dropper full, and it will have a different effect. It
Mhm.
adapts to what our stressors and what we need. So
Right.
you can't overdose. The body will take what it needs. If you give it more, if you give it too much, it'll take what it needs and get rid of the rest. But adaptogens are amazing because you can literally do no harm if you're
Right.
extracting them.
Can't overdose on it. You can't harm yourself. And you were also talking about that you don't want the mushroom powder. Or what are the difference? My question was, what's the difference between a mushroom powder and the dual extracted liquid? You've explained what the dual extracted liquid is, but does that mean somebody shouldn't get mushroom powder because
So
of basic?
mushroom,
Yeah,
such a good question. So mushroom powders can be the fruiting body
yeah,
dried and
yeah,
ground up
yeah.
and the thing, or it could be a dual extract or a single extract dried and made into a powder. That made no sense to me. I remember going down the rabbit hole going, why is a mushroom that's 85% water, uh, a liquid extract is made and then they dry it? Why would we do that? Why are we
Yeah,
drying it?
really? Why? Yeah.
Because it's coming from China and it's a lot cheaper to ship it a powder than it is to ship a liquid. And we can also hide a whole bunch of other additives and
In
fillers.
there, in there.
So that's why it's a powder. So that's what I always ask myself, why is this way? Because you follow, it's always about the money. It's how do we make a bigger profit on this product? So I highly recommend liquid, but
Mm-hmm.
only if it's a dual extract. If it's not, then you might as well take the powder and put it in some water. And some people are doing that.
Right,
Some,
right.
most products don't have mushrooms in them at all.
Right.
Also in those mushroom powders is something called mycelium. So mycelium is basically the roots of the mushroom. And what's very common, and which I do not do, is people, because now mushrooms are huge. So the majority of products are grown on grain. So they take
That's another question I was going to,
grain.
yeah.
They take the spores, they inoculate the grain. The spores eat it, take over. It's now called mycelium. The mushroom part sticks its little head up, the primordia, it's like this big. They take that whole thing and grind it up and call it a mushroom supplement, and it has no mushrooms in it at all.
Wow.
So when you're looking at ingredients and you see mycelated grain or mycelium or brown rice or oatmeal or whatever, those are all signs that you do not want that product.
Right,
Because
right,
just like you want your dog to have a biologically appropriate diet, the animals that you're feeding yourself or your dog to have a biologically appropriate diet because they will not have the nutrients in them if they are factory fed or fed the wrong thing and filled with all this stuff. You want your mushrooms and your plants to have the same thing. Mushrooms grow on wood or decaying matter, or chaga, for instance, which is one of my favorites. If it is not growing on a live birch tree, it will not have its main compound, betulic acid. Most chaga is grown on grain, so it's not even chaga. I don't even know what it is.
Oh my God. Okay, so
So it
I know
matters.
somebody that has a mushroom farm and they grow it in grain. So basically, you're not getting the benefits of the mushroom.
You
No.
may get some vitamins and minerals, but
But
you're literally, it's different than what it would really be. It's basically like comparing a factory farm cow and a grass-fed, grass-finished cow.
wow. Wow.
One is not healthy and not giving you the nutrients that you need and is actually poisoning you, and one is giving you what you need. So it totally
Guess
matters
where that's
where it's
going? It's going in the trash.
okay.
And I've been
I
putting
never
some of
thought
that in
I would.
my coffee every day.
Yeah, I'm
Ah.
happy to help you through all that because
Oh yeah, yeah, you're
I'm an
going to,
expert
girl.
now. And
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
why I became an expert? Because of my Doberman when she got osteosarcoma. I knew about the mushrooms. I was a practitioner for another company. And so I was like, okay, I went down the research. I'm like, I need to get her this many milligrams of turkey tail, this many milligrams of reishi. I start looking at the product I'm using, and I'm like, I would have to put half a packet of this powder in her food to get one therapeutic dose. She's not going to eat her food. And then if I went to capsules, I'd have to give like 5 capsules. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're not gonna get her to do
this
that.
is
Yeah.
stupid. What is going on? And that's when I was like, oh, okay, no. This should be in a
Okay.
liquid. This shouldn't come from China. This shouldn't be grown. And the company I worked for grew on sawdust from the sawmill in China.
That's where they grew the mushrooms. Oh my
And
gosh.
they are very proud of it because they take care of a byproduct of an industry. That's what dog food is also. It's our leftovers and the
Uh,
way they get rid of dead animals,
yeah,
especially factory
that's
farm
what your
animals.
dog is eating. Yeah,
That's what your dog is eating.
yeah, that's what I found out from yeah.
Not only are you eating that, they're also baking it at such high freaking temperatures that it kills any nutrients
Well,
that.
that's where we were talking about with Dr. Judy was
Yeah.
that no kibble is good for you. And just like no cereal is good for human beings because they heat it up. The nutrient, I mean, the ingredients could be good, but when they heat it up that high, it just really kills everything.
Yep.
Let me ask you a question. So, your CBD and your mushroom tinctures, can humans take it or is it designed? So,
Yes. I, of course, am not allowed to say that.
huh?
I'm not allowed to say that. But yes, everything is human grade. I healed myself with my own formulation. So when I got out of University of Vermont, I got to work. I learned, what adaptogens were. I learned that turmeric and frankincense share some of the same compounds as hemp. So putting them together, I made the most powerful anti-inflammatory and healed myself of RA. I changed my diet. I took out the rest of the toxins that were sneaking their way in, started reading labels, and
Yeah.
then turned around at the same time that I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. My soul dog, Odie, was diagnosed with degenerative myelopathy, where they completely lose the back end of they can't use their back legs. Neither one of our diseases has advanced or did advance. I don't even have a crooked knuckle, like I
Wow.
went from, having horrible inflammation in my eye is how it popped up, which I think is so interesting that a lot of them autoimmune diseases pop up in the eye. And, felt arthritic. I don't anymore.
So
It's
all
like,
you're taking is yours the CBD
and my
and the
mushrooms.
mushroom.
And
That's
then
it.
let me tell you about this.
Now, are you taking any other supplements at all?
Yes, I'm taking psilocybin
Oh, the microdosing.
and I'm
Yeah,
taking
I do too. I do that too.
eight treasures,
What is that?
traditional Chinese medicine herbs.
Okay.
So between traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, and hemp and mushrooms, I could and diet, of course, I can take care of everything. Because
Because
remember,
I've gotten on
every
this.
drug is dependent on something that worked in nature. So I just go, someone goes, I'm taking this and I feel terrible. Is there anything that else I could do? And I'm like, uh-huh. And I just go find where it exists in nature every time. Like you asked Dr. Judy about NMN.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about that because if you guys haven't heard about NAD plus or NMN, in fact, I was at a conference and I was asking a doctor and he was kind of going around. I don't know which I've been taking NAD plus. Then I heard, nope, you really want to be taking NMN. What is the difference and which one should we be taking?
So I wouldn't take either one of them because they're synthetic isolates. So I don't believe in isolates. I believe in nature. I believe in full whole spectrum. I don't believe in the man going into the thing to make something that already exists in nature. So
Okay. So what
both
would be
hemp and
equivalent?
mushrooms help your cells do what
Exactly
NAD
what
and NMN do.
NAD plus it
And the
really.
thing is that it may have an action and it may work. The problem is it also has a side
Right,
effect.
right, right,
It's
right.
a
It
chemical.
also, yeah, it might work for that, but then it's going to give you something.
So if you're you're interested in anti-aging,
Hmm.
let me tell you about my senior dog study that I just did.
Oh, tell me.
So I had a senior dog rescue where once I became a clinician, all I wanted to do was practice and put into practice what I learned at school. So I literally made relationships with veterinarians, and I said, "Hey, this is who I am. You get a case where you think I could help the dog, give me a call." So I ended up with every old dog with every problem you can imagine
Yeah,
time
yeah.
and time again. If I did that extraction and I did that combo of things, I could bring that dog back to homeostasis. And I'm talking old dogs covered in cancer, can't walk, having horrible seizures, on 13 different medications. I'd wean them off, put them on real food, put them on hemp and mushrooms, and watch these dogs come back time and time again.
Wow.
I learned about like cancer, sure, I'd be like, what kind, what stage? Yeah, I got it. Like that's how I became. And then I discovered dementia.
That
Now,
was my next question. Yeah,
I
about
do you
cognitive
know
decline. Yeah.
do you know how you die from dementia?
Well, my mom had dementia, so yeah.
So I know because my partner's dad died of dementia. And so how you die from dementia is that you forget how to eat and drink. So I had a 16-year-old lab beagle mix who got rid of her MCT, regained her back end mobility, and then when she was 18 would get up, walk over to the water bowl, walk back, not drink, do it 4 times in a row, just stand there looking at the water, never drink. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And my
Wow.
boyfriend said, I think she has Alzheimer's. I'm like, how do you know she has Alzheimer's? And he's like, that's what happens. You forget how to eat and drink. I was like, she's still thirsty and can't remember how to
How to
drink.
drink. Oh my
That,
God.
like, my soul dog was still alive. He was 16, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna let this happen to him. So, and then I realized, and I realized this being on tour with Dr. Judy, I would go up on the stage and be in front of like 200 pet parents and say, raise your hand if you have a senior dog. Someone raised, and I go, if your dog is this age, he is a senior. So then a bunch of hands would go up. I'd go, put your hand down if your dog is not doing any of these things. Waking up in the middle of the night, missing, peeing or pooping in the wrong thing, maybe getting lost, not remembering things. All of them kept their hand up. The waking up in the middle of the night, the wandering, the random barking, the change in behavior is sundowners. It's early signs of
Mm.
dementia in your dog. So after I reversed it several times at my farm, I was like, okay, what medications are out there? Because what I discovered is that what's happening to pet parents is that they're giving up. They're not getting a diagnosis. They've changed the diet and the medications, and they're just watching their dogs suffer and
Yeah.
decline.
Yeah.
And they're being told by their doctors, by their
Exact.
clients,
Yeah.
there's nothing else you can do. There's
Right.
nothing you can do. The
Right.
hell there isn't. There
Right.
is always something you can do. And that's where I come in and go, oh, and add 5 years to a geriatric dog's life. And it's not 5 years of just keeping them alive, it's 5 years that they're thriving,
Quality,
quality
right?
life, health
Uh,
span.
so
So
what?
I decided to do a piece of research
Uh-huh.
to prove my nootropic formula. And I came up with my formula because these herbs, these adaptogens have already been studied to do this. So lion's mane, astragalus root, and Bacopa monnieri, all three are considered adaptogens. Bacopa monnieri is a herb, astragalus is a root, and they have already been proven and researched to regrow our telomeres, which I don't know if you know what our telomeres are, but
No.
inside of our each of our cells, we've got that X structure that's our DNA. And at the end of these like X string things are called our telomeres, and they're like a plastic on the end of a shoelace.
Mm-hmm.
Every time our cells replicate themselves, these shrink, and the results are aging. Bacopa
Mm-hmm.
monnieri, astragalus root, lion's ring, regrow them,
Wow.
reverse aging. So put
Wow.
the NAD plus down, put the NAD down, and take your damn mushrooms and adaptogens. They're called nootropics. So nootropics are adaptogens that are specifically really good for the brain. So
Right.
I did a combination of lion's mane, reishi, and cordyceps, dual extracts in a spagyric preparation, meaning the most potent and all the good stuff taken out of those mushrooms, and then added Bacopa monnieri and ashwagandha to them.
I
I'm
take ashwagandha at night.
great.
Again, now I'm starting to think, is there any fillers in there? I'm usually pretty good at. Okay, so somebody that's listening to this, I know this is a pet show, but now I'm starting to
No, it's
think.
not a pet show. Our
It's
health is the same as them.
yeah, you're right. Okay, so
Because
if
that's
I
what
want to
happens.
take,
Not to interrupt you, but that's what happens is that people, especially us women of a certain age, we're going to do everything for that kid, for our dog, for our
yeah.
pet. And then what happens is they bring their own animal back to homeostasis and then go, can I do this for myself? And I go, you sure can. You
So would
absolutely
I
can.
just buy the same tinctures on your site for myself and my pet?
Yep. Or my Myco Alchemist has a human product. So if you want to take his instead of mine, I will be happy to share that with you.
Who is
His
that?
He does do it in alcohol,
Oh,
so
okay.
I prefer mine.
You prefer
I
yours.
prefer mine because it's not an alcohol. I don't believe in alcohol being in herbal products. I
Right.
extract with alcohol, but then I take the time, energy, and money to remove that
To
alcohol.
remove it. Yeah. So
But
yours is
if you
is
do it
extra.
home and you take tinctures and you have alcohol tinctures, you don't need to throw those in the garbage. You can literally put it like in a shot glass. I forgot how long, but evaporate the alcohol out of your dose before you take it for you or your animal. So if you do have alcohol tinctures at home, don't throw them away. Just evaporate that alcohol before you give them to your pet. But
I
so
don't
this
have any, so I don't have to worry
Good.
about that. So I'm going
So
to just,
clinical research that what I proved is we brought in dogs that had CCD, which is canine cognitive dysfunction, which is the equivalent to Alzheimer's or dementia for humans. And we had severe cases, moderate cases, and mild cases. The severe cases stabilized. They did not get worse, and it happens fast. Once you get to the severe, it goes downhill really fast.
mm-hmm.
Our mild and moderate, we reversed. So we tracked, first of all, I hired a research firm that was run by a retired conventional veterinarian of 15 years who does research for pharmaceutical drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be apples to apples comparison. And he literally set us on the first day. Um, I know you guys are really psyched about this, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to get the results that you want. He also let us know how research works, where a pharmaceutical company only has to do research and prove that the health of the animal doesn't change in the first 3 months. So they do it with a bunch of young dogs. It's fine. And that's not what the fact that little old me did
Right.
more
So all they have to do is
than
make
the
it through
company.
3 months and then they're cleared.
Right. So Librella ran a 3 month and they did pet parent surveys only. My research, I did collars that monitored their activity. So heart rate, were they waking up in the night? Were they sleeping through the night? Are they pacing all day? Are they walking in circles? I also did two blood biomarkers, so BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which basically is your neurons, your regenerating neurons. It's a sign of is your brain healthy, getting worse or better. And something called CRP, which is C reactive protein, which is an indicator, blood indicator for inflammation in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And we did pet parent surveys where we said, are they getting lost still? Are they sleeping through the night or whatever? So we showed an 81% improvement rate with dogs with dementia.
Wow.
I proved that mushrooms
Wow.
and extracts can reverse dementia. Of course, I'm not allowed to say that,
Right. No, you can't. Yeah,
but
you
that's
can't.
what
You're not allowed
happened,
to say that.
even though
You're
I
not allowed to
proved it.
say that it cures anything or whatever. Let's just say it helps a lot, you guys. And on your the mushroom website, which is Myco Dog,
Yeah.
I've noticed that you've got different ones on there. One looks like it's got like everything in it, and
Well, the
then
Vitality is the
yeah,
one
the
I created for my
vitality,
Nina. So
huh?
that's the one I created for my Nina who had cancer. So
Okay.
that one is a great, like, immune, take every day, just support. I
Yeah.
say every senior citizen, dog or person, should be on a full spectrum hemp extract and medicinal mushroom extracts. It's a
And like
game
what, one
changer.
dropper full.
Absolutely. And if you're already experiencing something, take more. But the fact that Mother Nature literally makes these mushrooms and plants to help us with aging and help us with everything that we go through, it's meant to be. It's there for us to try and to use. And most people don't make them the right
Well,
way.
like what you said earlier, uh, that pharmaceuticals take the plant and make it in a synthetic. So they're trying to copy what much Mother Nature did anyway. If you
Yep.
can get your head around that, people, why would you ever even consider taking a synthetic drug as opposed to something that was grown,
Right. And
you know, from
if
the
you
earth?
you have to take an antibiotic, you have to take a steroid, you have to whatever, and you don't want to, just help your body prep beforehand and detox after.
Well, sometimes that's not all possible. And my son's going through something. He's been on way too many antibiotics. I say, I won't do it. I mean, I know it'll take me 2 times as long to get over something,
Yep.
but I'm willing to do that because I know that it wipes out one round of antibiotics, wipes out your gut flora for 2 years. And then you're I mean, he's been on it like every quarter for last year.
Ugh.
And now he needs to have surgery. So that's another, so I've got
Where
to
does
get
he have to
him
have
on.
surgery?
Well, they're thinking his nose is broken in a couple different places. That's the problem. He's getting sinusitis all the time. So then, we were in the emergency room because his tonsils were black. It's always here, ears, or here, ear, nose, throat.
Well, I'm
And
going to
now,
send you something for him. If he'll take it, I
oh
will
yeah,
send something for you. It's my breathe tincture that I created for my old man because he had collapsing bronchial, and so he'd wake up in the middle of the night and start hacking. And so I
yeah,
was
he
like,
does in the
okay,
morning.
yeah, so this will stop it. So I'll send you one to give to him.
Oh, you
But
are the
just remember
best.
that if he's wiped out his gut microbiome, he's wiped out his immune system, so he has to rebuild it. Now,
I
if
get
pets
it. He's starting to understand that now
good,
because, I put him on a protocol and now he's getting really serious
good.
about it. But this surgery is, I guess, to put something up there to build the cartilage back in his nose because they couldn't even get, I wasn't at this appointment, but his nose is they couldn't even get it all the way up because
Ugh.
it's broken. And I know that when it happened, when he was a kid, anyways, I'm not going to get into the whole story that he wasn't with
But
me,
like for
but
pets, we had a pet that had to go through a bunch of procedures or problem. We have something called fecal transplants, where you literally can take a healthy dog's poop in a capsule and feed it to your dog and rebuild and bring his gut back to homeostasis. It exists in humans. I'm not sure how it's done, but it is absolutely like Nina. During her, I extended her life. She was supposed to be dead in 4 months, and I extended her life over 2 years.
oh my
I did
gosh.
that twice just to make sure that you and I understand the gut. If that's where it lives, let me do my best to make sure. And I'm
Yes.
not getting it through a probiotic or prebiotic. Again, mushrooms, credible source of pre and
So that's a
probiotics.
waste of money too. Who was it? Who
More
I had
isolates, more isolates.
probiotic. So
Everything should
I am
come
going to
from a
take a
food.
picture of my supplement cabinet.
I know.
You're going to lose it.
I feel like I would love for you to come onto my podcast
I would love
and we
that.
could do that together because
Yeah,
I feel like I could talk to you forever. I
me too.
love that you know this, but I still get to say, look at that, what that, under those inactive other ingredients, what are they? Because where I'm at right now, I think you're at. Where
Yes,
I'm at, you're trying to help your son. I'm helping pet parents who know better. They're now feeding real food. They're
right.
now, they've had success, but they still can't get their dog to homeostasis. There's still an ear infection, or he's still biting his paws, or whatever it is. And it's because of those damn isolate
Isolate.
additives and fillers that are hiding in your supplements, they're hiding in your food. Shredded cheese covered with sawdust so that it doesn't stick together. I'm telling you, it's
Oh my gosh.
everywhere. So you have to, and it seems like a lot. I'm sure you've
No,
seen
but
them
actually you're making it very, I mean, it's a little overwhelming, probably to a lot of people
at
hearing this, but
first.
it's not that overwhelming to me. But what I love what you're saying is that I can get rid of all those and just take two things.
Yep.
It's going to be so much more time. I've told people, I said, where do I spend my money? That's where I spend my money on
And you
prime,
brought up something about a doctor being worried about fungus and
yeah,
mycotoxins in mushrooms. There are bad mushrooms, toxic mushrooms, and
that's
there
what I
are
think.
good
Yeah, he
ones.
didn't say all mushrooms, but he
Right.
did say that you got to be careful. That's what he said.
There's like 100,000 different species, right? And we only know a little bit about these, and what we know is pretty incredible. But
Right.
even if you were to come across a black mold or something bad, the good mushrooms train your cells to recognize the bad stuff. And
Wow.
literally, so if you were taking mushroom extracts and you came across black mold and inhale it, literally your immune system would send it out, attack it, and remove it from the body.
Wow.
I've
And
literally
I just
tested
bought
this.
these things that you can plug in the wall that supposedly they let off negative ions, and that's the same idea. It's supposed to go into the air.
And remove
And
them.
I also have salt lamps. So I'm like, why do you need to get those? I got salt lamps. I mean,
Because it is. They're just trying to replicate something that Mother
that's already
Nature's
nature.
already
I
doing.
already have a salt lamp in every single room. Now I've got these things for another $40 a piece.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Well,
So
listen,
I'm
we've got
always
to.
anytime like someone will tell me I'm taking this and I'm like, you get that from that. Don't like glucosamine and chondroitin. No. Eat the food that has those. Don't take the isolates. Your body doesn't know what they are.
What about glutathione?
No.
I'm
Get it in a
taking that too.
mushroom.
Oh,
Stop. Take your mushrooms. And there's something even better than glutathione called aragothione, which is in mushrooms.
L-theanine.
Aragothione.
Oh, no, no. Not L-theanine.
It's like
L-glutamine. What about L-glutamine? No?
I don't know what that is,
I
but
know.
all of those things are isolates. So always like I love to go make sure whatever it is, of course I looked up NMN to make sure I was right so that I could tell you what would do the same thing in nature, and mushrooms will do the same thing for your cells that that isolate will do, but without
Mm-hmm.
the side effect. Apoquil, one of the most popular allergy drugs given to dogs, which is terrible and has been linked to so many different cancers. It literally blocks an action of something called the JAK3 receptor. Cannabis, a full spectrum hemp extract, does the same exact thing, except it doesn't block it, it modulates it. It never blocks an action of the body. The body
Right.
knows what it's doing. It helps the body make the right decision, helps the body fight off whatever the threat is, instead of a chemical drug that blocks an action and then has all of these horrible side effects. I'm pretty sure pet parents don't want that.
Right. And I think the misconception too with the CBD is I think a lot of the times, including myself, CBD pet parents are thinking it's good for anxiety, which it is. But today I've learned it's much better it's better for more than just the anxiety. So
Oh,
just because,
yes.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Inflammation. The basis of
Inflammation.
all disease is inflammation of something.
Exactly. Well, that's what my
And
doctor
that's
says. He
what,
said we don't die of old age, we die of inflammation. And
exactly.
I'm on board with that. Okay,
What's dementia? Inflammation of the brain. That's why
exactly.
we measured those two blood indicators to show that we are reducing inflammation in the brain by giving them mushroom extracts. We're
Exactly.
regrowing, we're regenerating neurons. So menopause, about the only thing I didn't expect get from menopause, I felt like I went through everything, was the brain fog. And I'm pretty sure it's because I'm taking my mushrooms.
That's probably, yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to tell everybody where to find this. To find the mushroom tinctures, you go to Myco, MYCO dog.com. For the CBD, we go to CBD
You can get
dog.
both actually on Myco Dog.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're both
Okay.
on each other's websites.
Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. And then we're offering a promo code. If you guys put in the promo code Tina, you will get a discount.
Yeah,
And the only reason why I can't tell you how much because I don't really know yet.
I don't either.
But we've decided on the promo code today. So you know what? I'm gonna probably be your first order because I'm getting it for myself and
Oh, honey, I'll send it to you. I'll send you some. I would love
thank
for you to
you.
try. I thought about doing it beforehand, but I want
Yeah,
to
no, I would love to
commit
represent this
for
product. I mean,
thanks.
yes, this is so, so important. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for
I
having
have so enjoyed this. It's been fun. It's been informative. I'm calling right after I get off the phone. Get off this. Is my brother Tony? Because he's just like me. I mean, he's better with his dog. She's been on raw food her whole life and everything else. But wait till I tell him about all the supplements that we're spending a lot of
me.
money
Good,
on that we shouldn't
good.
be. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, and everybody, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I hope you guys learned a lot, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Angela.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.